Welcome everyone to the Master Your Money Flow Challenge. I am really excited that you all decided to invest in yourselves and join me for this exciting challenge. We are going to be diving deep into some really amazing topics. And at the end of the day, I'm really going to help you to supercharge your cash flow, really get into that profitable part of your business. But not just that, I'm going to help you with some really amazing tools and tips and techniques of how to really work on yourself, because ultimately, when you reach your full potential, your business will reach its full potential. When you know how you work and how to align everything that you are and get in flow with that, everything in your life is affected through that. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for committing. And I just want to commend you for being here and taking part in this challenge. Okay, so we're going to get started with day one, which is all around business mapping and budgets. Now, when I was thinking about the order of this challenge, I was like, is that really the best part to start? Because you do need a bit of information around it. But I thought, it's actually a good place to start, because some of what we're going to cover today will be filtering through in the things that we deal with for the rest of this week. For the 7 days. And so this is going to be a work in progress. So you're going to use some of the principles and ideas that I share with you today. And every time we go through the next module or the next day, you'll be able to actually apply these principles and think back to like, okay, what was the main purpose? We're going to be talking about vision and goal settings as well today. So you'll be able to really tap into that, like, why am I creating this again? Why do I want this to work? What is the purpose and the direction that I want to do here? Okay, so the very first thing we need to do when we look at our business is we do need to take stock of where we are. So we need to get clear of what exactly does your business look like at the moment. Now, I do know that some of our participants are not business people. So if you want to apply this to some of the principles in your life, I want you to know that every time I use the word business, you can just substitute it with the word life. And a lot of these principles can be pulled through to that. And I'll explain to you as we go along which parts you can replace. But for the most part, we are focusing on business here. And so I'm going to be using business terms. So the first thing we need to take inventory of where our business is. So what am I currently doing? How many clients do I have? And we are going to be talking about business growth here as well. So you'll see in today's email, you would have received a link to a file, to a central place where you can find all the resources and replays for this challenge. One of the first resources you'll find in there, it's a document called Resource Links. You can click on that, and that's actually going to take you through to the different documents and worksheets other than the ones that are directly uploaded in that folder. So one of the first ones that I've uploaded for you there, which is already in that folder, is your inventory form. So I want you to go and have a look at what does your current situation look like? How many current clients do you have? How many potential clients do you have? How many people do you have on social media following you? So get a really clear picture on what does it look like? What does your potential reach look like? And what does that entail? Because we've got to get a clear picture. We've got to know where we are. If you don't know where your business is at any point of time, you've really got to put that CEO hat on. You've got to run this like you are in charge. Imagine you were working for a big corporation, you've got shareholders, and they want to know what's happening in their business, what's happening with their money. Now, something happens when we have this type of responsibility towards other people. We make sure that we're on top of things. We make sure that we check in with our staff quite regularly. But we don't do that for ourselves because we think, oh, well, it's just me. I'll check on that later. I'm so busy with building my business or growing my business that I don't even check in with where am I to track my progress and where, if I had to report to someone on what's happening in my business. It's too easy when you're running your own business to say, I'll just check out and I'll check tomorrow, or I'm going to take a break first, or I'm going to get distracted, or I'm going to do this or that. And so that's the trouble, or one of the challenges that a lot of business owners are struggling with, because how do you actually get that motivation? And so I want you to put that imaginary CEO hat on. Imagine you're working for this big corporate company and you have got to report to these shareholders. You've got to let them know, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with the business's money? How are you investing it? What's the potential client reach? What's the growth? What's the strategy? and add that into a report. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to take inventory. We're going to take stock of like what is the current situation. Where's the potential clients? Are they on social media? Are they your email list? How big is your email list? So we're covering all of that in that form. So I want you guys, it's a jot form, so you can go in and you can go and complete that and let me know. I will receive the responses anyway, so it'll give you a good overview of where your business currently stands. So that's the first step that we need to do when we start to map out our business, is to know where our clients are and how many potential clients. And then next thing we need to do is we need to say, okay, this is where I am right now. You can even like, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So this is where I am right now, and then where do I want to get to? So what does the future look like for me? What is my vision? So one of the second resources that I've already uploaded to that folder for you as well is a vision creation workbook. Now I want you to actually carve out some time every day. So I want you to set your timer and use 15 minutes a day to sit down and work through that vision creation workbook. Now, you would have seen signing up for this challenge, you also get a one-on-one private session with me after the challenge is finished. So I want you to complete that vision creation workbook, and when we meet after this challenge, so this is a work in progress. Don't feel like you've got to do it all today, but throughout the week, go and spend some time on that. And then afterwards, when we meet one-on-one, we're going to go through your vision creation workbook and see what is the things that you came up with, what are the action steps, and it's literally going to guide you step by step, because we've got to have a vision. One of the things that you need to think of, and this will be a separate worksheet which I'll upload probably within the next day or two, is where am I seeing my business going within the next year, within the next, the current vision workbook is going to talk about 3 months, 6 months to a year. So we're talking about short term there, but I want you to start thinking of longer term. Where do you see this business going? Because that's going to help you connect to, like, where am I growing to? What do I want to do? Because often we just so focused on the now. We know we've got big plans for someday. You know, maybe someday I'll be a speaker on stage, or I'll travel the world, or I'll write a book. But I want you to be more practical in terms of, okay, this is what I want to do for the next year. This is, obviously, we focus on income and getting in clients, but where do I want to get in the next 5 years, 10 years? What does this business look like? Is this a business where it's just going to be a one-man show, or do I see this growing into something more? Do I see this growing into an empire? Do I see this growing into a movement? Have I really spent that time of thinking, like, where do I see this business going? Now, when I did this exercise for myself the first time, it really stretched me, because I was like, I'm so focused right now on just building this business, bringing in clients, bringing in income, that I'm actually not thinking further ahead, you know. But when you know what the direction is, and yes, the direction can change. A lot can change in 5 years or 10 years. But when I now already envision something for my business, it's going to affect the type of decisions that I make, the type of clients that I try and reach, you know. If I want to work with affluent clients, and that's my big vision, is to one day hold retreats on beautiful yachts and in exotic places, then I've already now got to start gearing my business towards it. I'm not going to wake up someday or one day after having built a brand for 5 years and say, suddenly I want to be this affluent coach. I've already got to start embodying that. I've already got to lay the groundwork. It's almost like when you want to plant plants for the next season. We're going into spring here in South Africa. So it's like you've got to prepare the ground. You don't just go plonk your plant in. You've actually got to prepare the ground, put the right stuff into the soil, the compost, and all the different types of things, so that soil is rich and fertile for when it's the right time, and when the rain comes, that sprouts. Now the same applies to your business. You've got to lay that foundation. You've got to work the soil. So even if you're not seeing the results that you want to yet, or maybe you are, maybe you've already got clients coming in, but you know that you want to grow this business to a different level. So you've already got to start preparing that soil. You've already got to say, what do I need to do now already? And that's part of the things that you're going to be doing in this challenge. So part of the worksheet that's coming, it's not up in the folder yet, it will be coming up, just to show you, how do I map this out? What do I need to look at? So things are like, what's going well in my business at the moment? What am I enjoying? What is giving me results? What do I need to stop doing? So are there any habits or routines or anything that's going on in your business that you need to stop doing? And what do I need to continue doing? So what is going well, and what do I need to start doing? What's a new thing that I need to incorporate into this business to start giving a new dynamic and a new direction that I want to move into? Okay, so So that's the part on the vision. So now we've determined where I am right now, where I want to move to, what the ultimate goal is. Now I know that there's a gap in between, right? Now we've got to start mapping that out. We've got to start saying what are the action steps that I need to put in place in between. And this is what we're going to be working through, because oftentimes we do need to start with those practical steps. We need to have the step-by-step plan. But then besides that, even when we know what we need to do, a lot of stuff can come up for us. So money stories, limiting beliefs, procrastination, distraction, all of these things, perfectionism even, like, I just want to get this so perfectly right so I can't launch it. Even this challenge, it's very tempting to say, I'm going to just like put it out one more week or put it out another week, because I rather want to just get it so perfect. I want everything to be right. So rather than do it that way, I can just say, no, don't worry. I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm setting a date for myself and I'm launching this. I can always improve on it later, get the feedback from everybody that took part. So the same thing when you are building your business. Don't try and get everything perfect. Just get it going. Just start taking that action, and then you start tweaking. But it takes that commitment, it takes that energy, because the energy with which you show up when you commit to this business is going to make the difference. If you see it as I can do it tomorrow, or, because I don't have anybody to report to. So this is where it's really helpful to have that accountability partner. Whether it's in the form of a coach, whether it's in the form of another colleague, another entrepreneur that you can connect with, whether it's a family member, you have to find an accountability partner that's going to check in on you on a regular basis. Now, usually it helps having somebody who checks in with you weekly. So what is going on in your business? Where are you moving to? Or when you're talking about big vision and strategy stuff, I would recommend at least every month to 3 months, get together with people, like-minded people who are with you on the same page and saying, okay, what was your big vision? How's your steps going towards that? Because there's something that happens in the human psyche when we know that somebody's going to ask us about our progress. And so when we've got that deadline in our heads, like my conversation's coming up with this person, it changes something around your energy, and it helps you to really get motivated and get into that. Okay, so now some of the questions that you're going to ask yourself in that worksheet as well is, where do I need to invest in myself? Where do I need to invest in my business? Do I need to up level in a certain area? Because, it's not just always about the action steps, like what I need to do step by step. Sometimes it is about the mindset. It's about the limiting beliefs. It's about my clients. Am I super clear on who my clients are and what they want and what they need from me? And how do I feel about that? Is that the kind of client that I want to attract? Because so often we get really disheartened when people don't want our stuff anymore, or when you've got an email list and people are unsubscribing, or you're putting offers out there and people are not taking you up on it. And then you're like, okay, where's the disconnect? But it's really getting comfortable with, who is my tribe? Who do I want to serve? And am I okay with that? And we've got to do that inner work first. So we've got to first get clear on who we are and how we want to show up in that business. And part of that is then planning out, what does this business look like eventually? Because you want to polarize your messaging. Polarize meaning you want to push away the people that are not meant for you, that are not interested, that are not going to buy from you. And you want to attract the people who say, that's me. She gets me. She understands this, and this is the place where you need to get to. But in order for you to get there for someone else, you actually have to get there for yourself first. So you've got to know yourself. You've got to know, what do I like? What do I want? What do I struggle with? What do I need? What are my hopes and dreams? Because once you can get clear on those, that's when you can actually start helping other people with those. And that doesn't mean that you've already got to have achieved that, whatever you wanted to achieve. It means that you have just started working towards that, and you can share your experience with someone else, because we can see other people's blind spots. We struggle seeing our own, and that's why we need the help of other people. Often I felt like, I've invested in a ton of coaches and coaching programs and all of these different things, and I often feel like, but why can't I just do this myself? I've got so much knowledge and experience by now. I should be able to do this closed eyes. But the reality is, we do have these blind spots that we can't see. There's parts of us that we block out because we focused on this side or we focus on that side. And that's when it helps, when somebody can actually help you and say, but I can see this for you, or I can see that for you. Having that objective view is a really, really valuable tool to have in your business. So firstly, you've got to have those steps mapped up. You've got to have that vision, and then the person can come in and say, okay, well, why don't you try this or that? And they can give you some ideas. Again, here you've got to be really careful about who you lend your ears out to. You don't want to just let anybody and everybody give you opinions, because that's where you get confused. One of the quickest ways to grow your business is to have a laser focused and targeted strategy. This is where I'm going. As you go along and you find out, okay, there's a better way or an easier way to do this, then you can tweak and change. But it's not going into it with the idea or the thought of, oh, well, I'll just chop and change as I go along. No, no, no. You've got to be super focused and targeted. You've got to be like, this is where I'm going, and I am not getting distracted by anything along the way. If the right thing comes, and this is where I want you to also start tuning into your gut a little bit. We're going to talk about intuition quite a bit in this challenge, because having intuition in your business is absolutely crucial and key. If you're not able to tap into what's really best for you, and you're just going to trust other people's strategies and proven formulas, even if it's worked for them, it may not be the best thing for you and for your business at that time. So you've got to be super clear and have that internal GPS. We get born with these internal GPS systems. You've got your internal guidance system that will tell you what is the best for you. So when people say like, I've got a gut feeling about this. So I want you to follow that gut feeling and not push yourself through things or withhold yourself from things when you feel like this is the right thing to make. And you've got to distinguish between, it's interesting where it shows up in your body, because when it is that intuitive, like I'm a little bit nervous, you feel it in your gut, I want to do this, but those little flutters of, oh, I'm so nervous, I'm so scared. Or when it actually is fear, and that's a little bit higher up in your body, like around the stomach area, when your stomach wants to go into knots, that's fear. And that's something that's saying, this is not right for you. So that's where you need to do a little bit of work around it. And one of my favorite tools is journaling, because journaling is a safe space for you to actually work those things out. So you go and write out your actual emotions that you are feeling, getting to the bottom of it. And a lot of people say to me, I really struggle with journaling. I really struggle to start. What do I write about this? And so often that's what I actually do. I just take a page and I say, what do I feel about this? I don't know what to write. I write that out. I don't know what to write right now, but I guess this is how I'm feeling. And before I know it, I've written like 2 or 3 pages. So you've just got to get yourself into that initial moment and help yourself. So even when it comes to your business, let's say you've got a new business deal coming up, or you've got something that you've got to decide on, take your journal, have a journal. I've got different journals that I use for different things. But when you want to make this decision, go and journal it out. Start asking yourself some questions as if you were a friend, as if you were a business coach or a business partner, saying, what's the next step that we need to take right now? Okay, so then one of the important questions that you also need to ask yourself is, do I need to change something? So let's say you've got all of the structures in your business, everything's put together properly, you've got your processes, you've got your workflows, and we are going to talk about that tomorrow in detail. But you're still not getting the results, or you're not happy with, you're not getting that impact, even though you're doing all the steps, you've got all the structures, you've got all the workflows. Then it may be something with you. So do I need to change something? And we're going to talk about daily routines, and I'm going to give you some really great tips and guidelines on how to streamline what you do every single day to make it a day of ease and flow, but also just to get clear on, am I doing the right things in this business? Even if I'm following the steps, is it something about me? Do I need to change something about me? And again, it's going to come back to that mindset, to that story that you're telling yourself, to the routines that you are acting out, and to the way that you are doing business. Maybe it's the way that you're connecting with your clients. Maybe it's your price. Maybe it's what you believe about your business, how you feel about your business, and your business has got its own set of emotions, I almost want to say. Your business is something that responds to the way that you feel. So oftentimes when we're not getting results in our business, or we're not getting to the point or achieving or getting the impact that we want to achieve in our business, is because something within ourselves are out of alignment, and then we need to go and change that. Again, journaling is a fantastic tool for that. And now that I think I'm actually going to add an extra resource in there for you. I'll do a journaling prompt sheet for you that'll help you get started. So a couple of questions that you can ask yourself just to get the ball rolling. All right. Then the last point that I want to make about today for your initial business mapping is that firstly, so you've really confirmed on this is where I am with my business. This is the vision of where I want to go. And this is the gap in between, and I'm going to map out those steps. I'm going to see what I need to start doing, stop doing, and continue doing, what's been going well, what's not been going well. And I want you to start scheduling in those checkpoints, and we'll talk about that when we go into a little bit deeper of how you measure your progress in your business. The last thing I want you to do, and this is a foundational thing again that you need to do, and that's to have a proper business budget. When it comes to really maximizing your profit in your business, you want to make sure that you're actually tracking what is happening in your business. Now, there's a whole concept around, being clear on tracking your money, which is super important because a lot of times we've got a whole bunch of money leaks happening because when we started our business, we invested in all kinds of interesting tools and tech and stuff that we thought was really useful for our business. But then we forget about them, especially if it's small amounts. We invest a $10 here or a $5 there or a $15 here. And then we forget, and these things sort of start adding up. They start accumulating. So it's a really good idea to have one place where you can actually track and say, these are all my business expenses, my running expenses that I have in my business. Now, that's an exercise that you want to do sort of once off, do a whole recon of where am I now. It's part of you getting clear on where my business is right now, is saying, what is my business's expenses at the moment? And being really clear about that, because often we think it's just the physical tools that we invest in, where it could be things like, what portion of your house are you using, electricity, excuse me, the time that you spend, what is your time per hour worth? For me, that's quite an easy sum to make because I used to work in a corporate environment and I got paid a certain rate that I could work out what that rate was worth per hour. And now I can bring it into this business because I'm saying I'm not coming in at a lower rate because it's a new business or it's my business. I am coming in with the same amount of experience and expertise. In fact, I'm going to raise it now because now I've got more expenses that I've got to cover, and I'm going to grow in terms of my experience and expertise, right? So it's working out. I want you to start with a per hour rate. Be clear on what it's costing you per hour to work so that you've got that running list of expenses. So this is what it's costing me more or less to do business. So every time you are spending an hour doing admin, I want you to have an amount linked to that hour of doing admin so that you can start seeing I'm wasting time if I'm not super efficient and effective with my time. And I'm going to give you some tips later on in this challenge on how to actually maximize your time and really be super productive with the time that you've got. But that's going to help you not get so distracted or procrastinate, because every time you spend an hour doing something else than helping your business grow or working in your business, and there's a difference between working on your business and in your business, but every hour you spend doing something else or something that's not really helping your business going forward, that is like, it's that hourly rate ticking off, ticking off, ticking off. Okay, so you can start getting clear on how much are you spending on non-productive activities. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. You're going to have this one central place, and in the resources, it's not up yet. It will be up as well in the next day or so, will be your business budget template. So that's where you're going to have that one central place of being clear on what are my running expenses, what are my annual renewals, because this can creep up on you. Let's say, for example, you've taken out an annual subscription to something like one of the ones that I've got is Adobe Sign, so that I can get all my agreements signed electronically online. So they do an annual fee. And so you've got to keep track of when does these subscriptions renew so that it doesn't catch you off guard. You need to be clear on what do I need to bring in every month and what do I need to put aside for these kind of expenses so that it doesn't come along, and because this is what we're gonna work on now, is we don't want to live month to month. It's not just getting in enough income to cover my expenses at the end of the month. We actually want you to be profitable, have extra over, and not just have money lying there. Money's got to keep working for you. So even that extra that you've got over and above your expenses, something needs to happen to that money. Now, it's different when you've got something in a specific savings fund for something. So let's say for retirement or for a holiday fund, that's different. So ideally, you want to have these little pockets of different money that has purpose, because money goes and flows towards where there's a purpose. So when you've got these different pockets of, okay, I need to put some money away for these annual subscriptions, you need to know how much it is. So you can't just say, I'm going to just like plonk in an amount of money, and then suddenly that subscription comes. Usually they increase per annum, and then you've got to now suddenly budget for some extra. So you've got to be really clear, have some structure around your finances. The more structured and disciplined you are around your finances, the more you'll quickly pick up when there are, these leaks or things are not in alignment, so that you can correct them. Now, that being said, having that once-off exercise, or going through that exercise of getting everything together and saying, these are my annual subscriptions that I need to look at, these are my monthly running expenses, you want to put that in a tab that's not going to pop up for you every time you're going to open up this business budget, because we do not want to be focused on the expenses all the time. Where your energy goes, where your focus goes, that's what grows and expands. And I always use this example of when a lady wants to get pregnant, all she can see around her is pregnant women. So she catches all the maternity ads, or she sees strollers in the window. It's like your brain goes out there and it starts looking at, like, literally it's like scanning all the time for pregnancy related stuff, because that's what's on your mind, on your brain. So the same happens when we're looking at your business finances. Your brain will constantly be scanning for things that you are focused on. So if we are focused on the expenses all the time, that's what your brain's going to be focused on. And that's not where we want you to go. We want you to go towards the income, towards the abundance, towards the inflow. So that's the one you want popping up first. But we do want that second tab that's showing us all the running expenses, so that we can budget for them, so that we know at a glance and as a snapshot, this is what I need to bring in every month, so that I've got so much extra. So you've also got, this is very important, you've got to put a salary out for yourself. So a portion of your business, and there are different categories, and I'm going to have it in that business budget for you. Some of the categories will be, okay, this is what I need to put aside for the subscriptions, for the running costs, for the rent, for the water, for the electricity, all of those kind of things. Maybe you're employing a VA or any other people in your business or in your home. Then you've got to put aside money for them. You've got to pay yourself a salary. So you can't just live off your business. Your business income should not be covering your running expenses at home. That should be a completely different thing. You should be saying, okay, I need to make X amount out of this business to cover my own expenses. So be clear about that. Have your own personal budget and say, this is what I need to bring in every month from my business. Well, I need X amount as a salary from my business. The rest is capital that needs to be used in your business. So it needs to be reinvested in your business. So it could be reinvested in the form of upgrading on a specific tool. So for example, I use Calendly as my scheduling platform to have different appointments. So I'm on I think like on the entry level, it's the paid plan, but the very first one. Now there's another level up that I would love to use, because that gives me extra features. So now I can invest in that fund. I can put money there and say, okay, I want to earn this amount of money. So once we're very clear on the different areas, then we can say, this is the actual amount of money that I need to bring into my business. So it's not just to cover my monthly expenses that I've got, it's also to do these different things in my business. And once you're super clear about that, then your business can start working for you. Then the energy is flowing in those different streams, because I want you to see this almost like a diagram, and I'll see if I can incorporate that somehow in the budget. To have these different, this diagram with these different pockets that where the money needs to go, and then you know your business is working for you because it's paying you a salary so that you can cover your monthly expenses, have your little luxuries, your spa days or holidays or whatever, but the rest of the capital needs to go back into your business. So do you see how you need to think a lot bigger when it comes to what your business needs to bring in? Now, I'm not saying this to get you all discouraged of, I'm barely just covering my expenses. It could be that the whole mindset around, I just need to bring in enough to cover my expenses, that could be the reason why your business isn't growing, why it isn't expanding, because all you are putting out there is that I only need this amount of money, where you actually need to bring in a lot more than that money. So you got to get clear about, and again, when that money has a purpose, it will flow there. When I know I've got an extra expense coming up. So, for example, let's say it's change of season, and I know I want to buy some extra clothes for my kids for their, we're going into spring, so for their summer cupboard, So then I know there's an X amount of money that I want to spend, so I need to make this extra amount of money. So I'm going to put it into my budget. And somehow this is what happens, that money comes along for that particular thing. So I recently invested in a new service, and I said, okay, this is the amount of money that I now need for the next 6 to 8 months. Every month, this is something that I need extra. And you won't believe it, within a week, that money was made just because I was clear on the intention and where it needed to go. So you need to give your money a job to do. Money is like energy. We don't always see it that way, but we're gonna dive into like the whole money story and where that comes along. Money is just a unit of measurement. So think back of the old barter systems where I would give you an apple and you would give me an onion. So we would put a value to how much the apple's worth and how much the onion is worth, and that now in today's days is money. So, but it's essentially just like one item for another. But once you give that a job to do, then it starts flowing in that direction. Okay, so the next step, like I said, is going to be to fill in this business budget. So get that central place. What are your running expenses? What are the annual expenses? What are the things that you need to budget? So let's say you've got a goal to invest in a certain program or a retreat or a new business coach or somebody that you're looking at, something that you want to invest in your business. Make sure that you put it there so that you can start getting clear on how much is this money, even if that's not coming in at the moment, or you can't even imagine how you would get that. Just put it in there and you'll see how things start to change and grow and change towards that. Okay, so the first tab that's going to pop up is all going to be about tracking the money coming in, and that I actually want you to do on a daily basis. So as that money hits your bank, and it doesn't matter from which source it comes, I want you to start writing it in with the date and the amount, so that you can start tracking how much abundance is flowing into your life. And you can play around with I'm going to give you like a basic template. You can play around with it. Put some exciting colors in there, put some smiley faces, make it something that you enjoy looking at, because the more you track what's coming in, the more you get that coming in. And then we're going to work on your money story a little bit later in this challenge to just help you to not get stuck on, I want to hold on to this money because maybe it's been a while since you've had so much money flowing in. We want to make sure that the cycle of giving and receiving is constantly happening. So that's going to be the business budget template. So that is essentially what I wanted to share with you today, is that we're setting the foundations. We've got to map out the business. We've got to say, where are we? Where do we want to go? What's the long-term vision of this business? Because it's going to help you think bigger. And it's going to help us help you realize that you need a bigger margin of profit than what you have currently been pricing yourself at. We're going to talk about, the whole confidence and everything that goes around that when it comes to your money story and your money mindset. But for now, let's just put the foundations in place. Have that great vision. Be clear on where you are right now. And then let's map out those steps in between. Have your journal close to hand, especially with your business. This is so handy to actually journal out what are the different things that I want to try in my business. And if you've got different ideas, if you're a very creative person, then I want you to actually have it in a central place. I see Dee is commenting here in the chat box. Wow, light bulb moment there. Awesome, Dee. I'd love to hear for you to expand on that a little bit more. I'm going to open up for Q&A in a couple of moments. I just want to see if there was anything else that I wanted to share. Okay, no, so that was it. So we're going to go through those steps. You're going to go through those worksheets, and then we are going to get together tomorrow again. We'll do a quick touch base. But our main interaction platform is going to be in the Facebook group, in the private Facebook group. So I want to hear all your biggest takeaways from today, and any questions that you may have, please pop them in there. I will be in there quite regularly so that we can just chat about some stuff, and I may even add in a couple of bonus things. And if you want to get some one-on-one support in there, let me know. And then I'll let you know when I'm going live. And if you're on there live, then you can actually ask questions. Okay, guys, I'm going to open up for Q&A now. I just want to get this as a screen. So is there anybody that's got any questions? Let me know, and I'll unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. If you go to the left-hand side at the bottom of your screen, there's a little recorder button that you should see. You can just click on that, and that will unmute you. And if you feel like you want to come on video to come and chat to me, just also click on the video button. Okay, anybody got any questions? Okay, it doesn't look like anybody's got anything, so I'm going to stop the recording here. And then I will see you guys tomorrow for talking about systems and workflows that are really going to revolutionize your life. Thank you for joining me, and see you tomorrow. Bye for now.